Welcome to Soul Care, a time maybe to smooth some rough edges and focus on our spiritual well being. This has been a time of tremendous anxiety for so many people in our country and in our world, especially the coronavirus has caused anxiety. But not only that, also the political climate, fires, tornadoes, and individual health crises. All of these things have caused us to be anxious and tense, worried. I know families who have someone unemployed, probably due to the coronavirus pandemic, and unemployment causes a sense of general stress, but then it just takes maybe one thing to put a person overboard or a family overboard into a time of crisis. For example, you suddenly have to pay a bill to the vet, or you have to repair a refrigerator, or get a new furnace, or maybe you have to pay for a child to come home. There's something that happens that's more than the usual, and when you are already unemployed or stretched financially, it's a tremendous burden. One common problem that tests our equilibrium is certainly illness and health crises. When, let's say, your sister has cancer and you can't be with her because she lives another place and you can't go to the hospital anyway because of the coronavirus, all you can really do, it seems, is worry. And the anxiety that you live with is frustrating because you really have no control. And you have no control. All you can do is simply observe the problems from a distance. You can't even be there to talk to the doctor or to talk to your sister. Lots of these things make us feel out of control because the anxiety comes from something happening around us. Psalm 37 speaks to anxiety. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret over those who prosper in their way, over those who carry out evil devices. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. Our steps are made firm by the Lord when he delights in our way. Though we stumble, we shall not fall headlong, for the Lord holds us by the hand. Such a nice image. The Lord holds us by the hand. It's the parent figure who holds the hand when crossing the street. It's a comforting feeling. God holding us by the hand like a parent. And another beautiful image is in the shadow of God's wings. This time it isn't a human parent, but it's a bird parent holding us in the shadow of its wings for protection against all the wild elements. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. It's one of my favorite phrases. That's from Psalm 17. We may have felt that we are exposed to the virus, and figuratively that puts us in the pit, which is the geography of despair in much literature. To be in the pit is the worst place you want to be. It's the place where you're vulnerable, you're afraid, you're going to be attacked, you're going to be taken away, robbed, hurt. Stones will be thrown at you. You will have no protection. In contrast to the pit, God gives us another image, and that is the image of protection, the image of comfort, like in the shadow of the wings. I'm not sure that praying to God for protection necessarily works like a vaccine, keeping us from harm. I do know that when I pray for protection, my anxiety releases. I feel less fear. I feel less stress when I give away my fear and I ask instead for protection. In prayer, we seek God's promises, which are all over the Bible, promises for protection and well-being. Walter Brueggemann, a scholar of the Old Testament, speaks of these promises in a reading which I'll share with you, which is really a prayer to God. It's called Your New World Amid Our Anxiety. This is written to God. The promises roll off your lips and into our ears. I will be with you. I will love you faithfully. I will be your God. My covenant is forever. We count on your words that flow from our ears to our hearts, and we're glad. But even while we listen, much of our lives are underneath the table. We read these old stories and we know about intrigue and fear and anxiety and near violence and deception. We mostly do not act out our violence, but we imagine and ponder and scheme. And then we too must cover up. And cover up ferments. Our lives become complex and burdened. We keep inventing ourselves, and our underneath selves turn out to be less than adequate, and we wish we were other than we are. We juggle your good purposes and our hidden yearnings and try to serve two masters. Try to live two narratives. Try to live two dreams. And we are weary. Because we know our hearts of anxiety so well, we seem fated to disease. But because we know your heart of fidelity so well, we know you will defeat our demons and make us new. We know about your abiding fidelity in Jesus of Nazareth. Give us patience and steadfastness as we process the ragged edges of our lives. That is a reading called Your New World Amid Our Anxiety by Walter Brueggemann in a book called In Prayers for a Privileged People. So may this be our prayer today, that God will remain present in our lives, and that God will remain patient, available to us, and that God will invite us into the shadow of God's wings, where we feel comfortable and at peace, free from anxiety. And then, only then, will we be able to process the ragged edges of our lives, which are so many. Rely on God, whatever that means to you, a presence beyond yourself. You're not alone. Even in this difficult time, may it be well. with your soul.